Folks, I have a huge, embarrassing thing to say to you right now. I'm so thankful for my friend Mary. She says you can't hear. So I've got to start this all over again because I had muted myself. Technology is great. When you produce things yourself, sometimes you flub, sometimes you make big mistakes. So I just made one of those big mistakes. So I'm going to start all over again. So, my name is Steve Reed. I'm with Stephen Reed Coaching, Stephen Reed Ministries, and I'm going to go through this very quickly as we're moving forward. So, here we go. When you look at the whole concept of character traits of successful people, those character traits are the things that are critical for us. Now, let me define what I mean by successful people. I'm not talking about those people that they have generational wealth. Money has been given down to them from previous generations. Now, I don't have a problem with that person that gets seed money from a parent or a grandparent or somebody else. That's not what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about the people that genuinely built something with their hands, with their mind. They've created something in the process of going through life. So, we're going to go through 14 character traits that hopefully will bring you into a place where you can become more successful. So, number one is proper mindset. Have a proper mindset in the things that you are doing. Have a success mindset. Okay. Now, we've all heard the analogy that, or talked about that proverbial glass that's half empty or half full. And the positive people, the optimistic people say the glass is half full. The pessimists or the negative people say the glass is half empty. I say refill the glass. We live in a world of abundance, not in a world of scarcity. So stop and think about that. We live in a world of abundance. So have a proper abundance mindset. Number two, being stuck in the same place is not an option. I'll give you a couple of different scenarios and analogies with this. If you're walking in a wooded area and there's a big puddle in front of you, you've got typically three options. You can walk through the mud puddle, you can jump over it, or you can walk around it. And somebody told me, well, why don't you build a bridge? You can put some branches down or some rocks and walk across it that way. Or you could take a different path. So don't stay stuck where you are. Don't just stand there and ponder, oh, there's a puddle in front of me. What am I going to do? Well, here's another aspect of different options. So several years ago, we got hit with this global virus. And thankfully, in my practice, I was in a position where I had already started to move my coaching practice from just an in-person or group setting to doing things online virtually. And I was already equipped to do that. So thankfully, because I was already equipped and I was ready to go, the virus slowed me down a little bit, but I hit the ground running very, very quickly. It probably only took me about 30 days to get things completely revamped and moving in the right direction and starting to gain clients back again. So, number three is dreaming big. Dreaming is a part of the success process. Everything that is built, every home, every condominium, every shopping center, every skyscraper, everything started with a dream. And if you don't have those dreams in process and you're not focusing on the dreams, you're just going to be stuck. You're going to go back to that previous slide where you're stuck and there's a brick wall in front of you. You don't know how to get past it. Dream big and you will accomplish the things. Now, going to the next step, though, you've got to take action. So you've got to dream big, you've got to set your goals and lay out your plans, but you have to take action in everything that you are doing as a result. Next, commitment and time allotment are necessary. If you don't have the right commitment to the time that's necessary, then you're going to be stifled. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be frustrated. And other people are probably going to be frustrated with you as well. Well, for instance, if you decide you're going to take a cross country trip and you allot 24 hours to get from California to the East Coast, um, you're not going to do it unless you're flying. Okay. So you've got to have the appropriate amount of time allotment. So when you make those commitments, stick to those commitments, but make sure you commit enough time to get things done. Observation and experience. Now, this is an interesting one because a lot of people don't look at this as being a necessary character or success trait. Observation, when you look at this image, you'll see the guy, he's kind of elevated on the upper part of the backside of that raft. He is observing everything that's going on. He probably has a lot more experience than the rest of the people in this raft. And because of his experience, he knows what to expect so he can guide and direct people. So, are you listening to people that have more experience than you? Are you observing the things that other people are doing? Here's another one. Number seven, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Now, I got to tell you a funny little story. So, a couple of years ago, I turned 65, and I decided for my birthday I was going to do something exhilarating, something daring, something really challenging. And I decided it was going to be between skydiving, parasailing, and hang gliding. I chose skydiving. And when I jumped out of the plane, the parachute failed. And when I landed on the ground, I broke my leg. And the great thing is I had a videographer there and he was videotaping the whole thing. The only problem is when I looked at the playback video, it looked like I just fell off a ladder. How in the world did he do that, man? Because I wasn't skydiving. I fell off a ladder and I broke my leg. Now, I joke when I say if at first you don't succeed, don't try skydiving. That really is kind of a joke. But stop and think about the aspect of not giving up too soon. You know, Zig Ziglar famously said, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly until you learn to do it well. So, the first time you try something, did you do it well? Probably not. The first time you picked up a musical instrument, did you play that instrument well? Probably not. The first time you started writing a software program, did you do it well? Probably not. But you kept going, you kept plugging away at it. So, whatever you do, make sure you don't quit too soon. Surround yourself with other successful people. You have probably either said or have heard the phrase, if you are the smartest person in a room, you need to change rooms. In other words, surround yourself with other people that are smarter than you are, that have more experience than you do, and learn from the lessons that they have gone through themselves. You know, giving is a way of life for those successful people that we're talking about. Now, I don't necessarily mean just financial giving, it could be giving of time. I talk to a lot of people that are giving to an aging parent or a parent that's just having some health challenges. And I will tell you, that's one of the best things that you can do. And I will share also when you give of yourself without expecting anything in return, that's really going to help your soul to really flourish even more. So it's not just about the financial giving, it's also about giving of yourself, giving of your time. Now, I'm not suggesting that you don't give a lot of money. If you've got the financial resources, give the financial resources away. Robert Letourneau, for instance, guy was a genius. I mean, he was a high-end manufacturer, and he developed the movable or the walking oil rig platform that was deep sea type oil rigs. And he had a goal of giving away 90% of his wealth and living on 10%. And one of the ways that he did it, he started a university in East Texas. Letourneau University. It's focusing on oil and mechanical engineering, those kinds of things. So, how can I help you? Should be a mindset as well. Always be observant of what you can do to help other people. Give them a hand up, not just thinking about yourself and not just ignoring it when other people may be struggling. Now, I've built some very large organizations in the past, and I will tell you one of the biggest thrills is to watch other people that I have worked with, that I've been able to mentor and help along the way, watch them as they're getting recognition for the success and the accomplishments that they have had along the way. So have the mindset of what can I do for you? Here's another one: do the right thing. Now, there's a TV series out. I think it's on ABC. I'm not quite sure, but I think the name of it is "What Would You Do?" And the whole scenario is you've got some paid actors that are in a restaurant or in a service related scenario, and one of them is just being rude and obnoxious and arrogant and just being nasty to the other people. And the person that is serving them is being kind and polite and thoughtful and caring and so forth. And you've got all of the other innocent bystanders, the spectators. And some of them interrupt and say, "Why don't you stop being such a jerk? Why don't you recognize that they're trying to help you? They're trying to be nice and kind to you." That's kind of one of the crazy things. We don't realize that there are people that are watching us. So the whole TV series is based on what would you do? Would you step in and try and help somebody? So are you consciously thinking about doing the right thing all the time? The next one is mean what you say and say what you mean. Now, when I'm working with couples, this is one of the things that we stress in the conversation, and we're talking specifically about communication skills. And oftentimes, you got to understand that men are pretty logical. We do things black and white, okay, for the most part. And women oftentimes don't. And I use the scenario: husband and wife are taking a trip. They're going to be gone for a day or two. And about 30 minutes out of town, the wife says to the husband, he's driving, she says, "Would you like to stop and get a cup of coffee?" And he says, "No, I'm good." And he keeps driving. And about 30 minutes later, he realizes that she's been really quiet. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." "Okay, you're just being very quiet." "I'm fine." "Okay, fine." 30 minutes later, still quiet. And he asks again, "Are you sure everything is okay?" "No, it's not okay. I asked you an hour ago if we could stop and get coffee, and you said no." Now stop and think about what she said. She said, "Would you like to stop and get coffee?" And he answered the question that she asked. He answered no, he didn't want any coffee. Now, what she should have said was, "I would love to get one of those frappadoodle things with almond milk and the whipped cream and the chocolate sprinkles on top. Would you like some coffee also?" What he should have said was, "I don't want any coffee, but would you like me to stop and get you one of those frappadoodle things with the almond milk and the whipped cream and all the chocolate sprinkles on top?" They would have solved their problem. It would have saved them an argument. So say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't talk in code, be black and white as much as you possibly can. Persistent consistency is critical. I'm going to go back again to give you an illustration from Zig Ziglar. Many years ago, when he started his speaking career and he was launching his writing career, he had decided that he wanted to lose some weight and he was going to start exercising by running. And the first day he ran a block and he stopped, he turned around, he walked back home. The next day he ran a block and a mailbox. He stopped, he turned around, he walked back home. The third day he ran a block and two mailboxes, and then a block and three mailboxes. And he ran around the block, and then he ran 2 blocks, and then he ran a half a mile, then he ran a mile. But the key is he was persistently consistent with his exercise. And as a result, he lost the 40 or so pounds that he needed to lose. In fact, talking with his son, proud son Tom Ziegler, several years ago, Tom said that his dad's top two reasons for his success, number one was his faith in God and his character and integrity. That's number one. Number two was his persistent consistency and utilizing things like the BAM method, block and a mailbox. So, are you persistently consistent with the things that you are doing as well? Number 14, Never give up and never give in. We've already touched on this in a couple of ways, but I want to reemphasize, never give up. No matter how big that mountain is, never give up. This reminds me of one of my favorite children's stories. It's The Little Engine That Could. And that broken down engine in the yard is asking all of the other engines, "Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you?" And nobody is willing to help. "I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't." And finally asked this one little engine that its sole purpose was to move the other cars around in the train yard. And that little engine says, "Well, I think I can." And as they're climbing up the mountainside with the car that's loaded with the toys and the food for the girls and boys on the other side of the mountain, he's saying, "I think I can, I think I can, I think I can." And when he gets to the top of the mountain, he looks back and he says, "I thought I could, I thought I could, I thought I could." I want you to change that. I want you to say to yourself, "I know I can, I know I can, I know I can, I know I can." And then when you've accomplished that dream, that goal, you can look back and you say, "I knew I could." So is that where you are? You know you can, you just haven't accomplished that goal. So never give up. As I wrap up, I want to share a couple of last minute thoughts with you. Number one is the difference between who you are and and who you want to be is what you do. Let me say that again. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. Thank you, Bill Phillips, for that great quote. Tom Ziegler says, living a life of purpose on purpose is a choice. You have to choose the success principles that you want to go after. Change starts with you, but it doesn't start until you start. So as I wrap up, I want to give you a gift. Okay. Now there's an investment involved. Okay. So understand that it's not totally free, but part of it is free. So here's my gift. I recently re-released my Strategies for Success Planning Workbook. It's called Success Planning for Professionals. It originally came out, it was a 30-page fillable PDF document that you would download onto your computer, and then you could update it and review it on a regular basis. I've expanded that to now add an additional almost 20 pages. So it's almost 50 pages of content. We're going to start by helping you understand what your why is. Maybe you've never taken the time to really write down what your why is. We then go into what is your purpose, your mission, and your vision. Maybe you need to take some time to look at your purpose statement, your mission statement, your vision statement for long term. Maybe you've never taken the time to really sit down and evaluate your strengths, that you just focused on your weaknesses. That is all in this workbook. And the great thing is, because it is a downloadable, fillable document, you can review it every 3 to 6 months. So you don't get to the 10th month of the year and realize you are so far off track. No, you can continue to stay on track and review it on a regular basis. So here's the offer. It's only $27 for you to download and purchase this workbook. I promise there's a whole lot more value than just $27. But here's what I want to give to you. If you download this document, this workbook, and start working through this, I want to offer to you a 1-hour complimentary strategy session. And that's a $300 value for that 1-hour strategy session. Now, there's a time frame on this. I want you to do this by December 15th. That's just a couple of weeks away, because I want to help you get ready for the new year. So download it today. You can do it in a couple of different ways. Number one, you can just scan the QR code I have in the bottom right-hand corner, or you can go to my website and you can download the workbook from there as well. So consider the value that you're going to get. So this is technically a $327 value for only $27. You deserve it, not just for the upcoming year, but for the rest of your life. And you say, Steve, how do I reach out to you directly? Well, here's my texting number, 972-896-8956. You can also email me at info@stephenreedministries.com. You can go to my website, stephenreedministries.com. Take some time, look around, look at some of the other books and some of the other things that I have and some of the other coaching programs that I offer through my website. You can also schedule an appointment. Just click that schedule link at the top of the page, or you can scan this QR code that takes you directly to my calendar, and we can schedule that one-on-one time so that you can get on track and stay on track for the upcoming year. When we do that strategy session, what we're going to do is we're going to start peeling back the layers to figure out what's working, what's not working, what we can tweak, what we can improve upon, and maybe set together a plan for more success for you in the future. Well, again, this is Steve Reed, Stephen Reed Coaching, Stephen Reed Ministries. I am so thrilled that we had a few minutes to spend together today. My apologies again for my technical snafu. I just forgot to unmute myself. I hope you will forgive me for wasting that first 10 minutes or so, and I hope you'll go back and watch the entire video broadcast. Again, Steve Reed, Stephen Reed Ministries, Stephen Reed Coaching. My desire is to bring you light and hope so that you have a more victorious life. I hope you have a blessed day today. Goodbye for now.